Namaste. My name is JVN Rishi Gautam from Department of Journalism. Today's topic is how the world's best journalists being interviews to life. At the ripe age of 28, after years of performing odd jobs as a small radio station, Larry King found his first job interviewing people on the radio, but he wasn't sitting in front of that famous globe backdrop interviewing world leaders as he would do later on CNN. He was sitting in Pumpernickel, a Jewish deli in Miami, interviewing whoever happened to have walked through the door. His guests were waiters, tourists, and a plumber with whom he had a 45-minute conversation. King has gone on to conduct over 30,000 interviews across his 60 years career. He built a legacy by asking questions and letting his guests respond. He is not renowned for his oratory skills, his writing, or his investigative chops. He is known simply for his ability to ask and listen. Sounds simple in theory, but it's extraordinarily difficult in practice. Interviews which source should play a central role in any content marketing strategy, but there's no sugarcoating it. Mastering this skill is a difficult thing to do. Why interviews matter? One of the first things to go in a world of changing more content more quickly is quotes from sources to support the content's thesis. Too many content marketers rely on their own opinions and experience. They likely have trouble sustaining an audience because they provide no diversity of perspective, no point counterpoint model to establish authority. Want proof? Look no matter than media that have lasted the test of time. You had be hard pressed to find an article in Esquire or Rolling Stone that didn't contain quotes from an interview subject. It's a basic journalism. Some of the most celebrated magazine articles of all time are profiles of compelling characters whom the writer spent hours interviewing and observing. In the age of content snippets, this type of journalistic writing can feel absent from brand publishers. But it shouldn't be. It's fine to assume that you are the subject matter expert for a given piece, but even then, your audience gets a more diverse, more informed piece when you talk to actual sources, says Jay Acunzo, founder of Unthinkable Media. The reading experience is richer and the information is much more well-rounded. Interviewing sources is a tricky skill to pick up through. The best way to learn is through repetition, but it sure helps to have some advice, and for that it's best to look to those who have been doing this kind of work for decades. Principles of interviews. Stephen D. Sches, a prominent journalist and professor at Columbia University, laid out 4 principles of interviews in his teaching. Prepare carefully, familiarizing yourself with as much background as possible, establish a relationship with the source conducive to obtaining information, ask questions relevant to the source that induce the source to talk, listen and watch attentively. You can see each of these principles in every legacy journalist from Larry King to Lester Holt. Next point is prepare carefully. American public media's marketplace has a challenging task, explaining complex economic issues to everyday Americans. You can't do that unless you prepare. Rule number 1 for me is preparation. Know everything you can or everything you have time to study about what or who the subject of the interview is, says host Kai Ryasdal, from where everything just sort of happens. Being well versed on the topic lets you ask more intelligent questions that cut to the heart of the issue rather than pose basic questions that elicit answers readers could find anywhere. Knowing your facts also helps when an interview subject tries to dodge a question or states a falsehood. Thank you.